Well, Nepal's annual budget is just weeks away, and this time the Balen Shah government is preparing to push spending cuts as part of its governance from reform the agenda. The government says that its priorities for the upcoming budget include good governance, economic reform, connectivity, as well as human capital development. But behind those broad promises, a major restructuring plan is quietly taking shape. After slashing the number of ministers to 18 from 21 earlier, the government is now turning its attention to Nepal's diplomatic network abroad. Sources have told WION that the foreign ministry is internally discussing plans to scale down several embassies and consulates as part of wider bureaucratic reform drive. This proposal could be reflected in the national budget later this month. In fact, at present, Nepal operates 44 diplomatic missions across the globe. As per sources, Nepal is mulling to shut down nearly 10 embassies. A ministry panel has reportedly recommended closing Nepal's embassy in Brazil, Finland, Austria, Spain, Myanmar, Egypt and even Canada. At the same time, the government is considering opening new missions in Romania and Croatia due to a growing Nepali diaspora in Eastern Europe. But the proposal has triggered divisions within the foreign ministry itself. Sources say that Foreign Minister Shishir Khanal is facing pressure to present visible spending cuts ahead of the budget. Supporters of the plan argue that Nepal's diplomatic footprint must reflect economic realities and fiscal discipline. However, critics argue that aggressive downsizing could very much weaken Nepal's global presence at a time when labour migration, international engagement and even diaspora diplomacy are becoming increasingly important. Our correspondent Saloni Murarka has sent us this detailed report from Kathmandu.
As Nepal is preparing to unveil its annual budget, the Balendra Shah-led government is now focusing beyond ministries and towards Nepal's diplomatic missions as part of its cost-cutting agenda. The internal discussions have begun in the government to close or restructure nearly 10 Nepalese embassies in a bid to reduce state expenditure. There are over 40 Nepalese missions worldwide, and officials believe that many of these missions are not financially sustainable, and they believe that many of the work can be handled digitally or by neighboring embassies. However, this has sparked a concern within diplomatic circles. Critics warn that aggressive downsizing of embassies could question Nepal's international outreach. I'm Saloni Murarka, reporting for WION from Kathmandu, Nepal.